Hey everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Pod Guide, created to share the collective wisdom of everyday entrepreneurs who are bringing their visions to life, the ones in the arena. We've all read the same billionaire books, but what about the wisdom from the entrepreneur next door? The ones building, learning, failing forward, and figuring it out one step at a time. I'm your host, Britt Rodriguez, and every episode we're bringing you honest conversations, fresh insights, and lessons from entrepreneurs just like you. This is your place to learn, grow, and get inspired by your fellow business owners who are actually out there building businesses today, not just dreaming about them. So, let's get started.
Today's guest is Amy Reczek, founder of Sales and Presence, and she is here to make sales feel a whole lot less intimidating. In this episode, Amy breaks down how entrepreneurs can build trust, follow up without feeling annoying, communicate with confidence, and turn sales into a human-centered conversation instead of a pushy pitch. If sales has ever made you freeze, overthink, or want to run the other direction, this conversation is for you. Let's dive in.
Amy Reczek, welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. I am super excited to chat with you because you are a sales pro and I love sales. And most people listening to this podcast either want to learn more about it, are needing to sharpen those skills in some shape, form, or fashion. No one's a pro 100% at this, and anything we can do and to get better at this is just gold to all of us. So I am thrilled to be sitting with you and chatting with you. But let's go ahead and share with the people, Amy, like who you are and a bit about your sales and presence company.
Who am I? I am a rescue animal lover, coffee drinking, running, sunshine, everyday person.
God, I love that.
Doesn't like the cold, and who loves with a passion sales because it connects people.
Nice.
That's
And
what I
wait, where
love.
do you live?
We just moved to San Diego. Lived in
Oh, nice.
Colorado for a long time, long time, and then finally made the move full time to San Diego.
So there's your warm weather. I'm talking to you from
Yes.
Orlando, so I get you. Actually, everything you just said, the rescue dogs, like, yeah, sunshine, running, love it. Okay, fantastic. And then tell us a bit about your company. So obviously, sales is something you're extremely passionate about. So you've built a
Mhm.
company called Sales and Presence.
Yes, it opened about 6 years ago. It's been in business. I wanted to do something different. It came from what I was missing in my corporate sales experience. I loved corporate. I loved the connections. I loved the mutual success. I loved that sales teams were somewhat the misfits of a company always, and it was this odd family that always came together. There were so many things that I loved about it. What I was missing, however, was growth opportunity, and not necessarily in a company, but also within myself. How could I get better? How could I change things up? I was getting extremely bored. Um, Seeing the same clients every single day, having the same territory for 17 years, really just thinking what was I missing? And so I took the leap to explore that. Took about 6, 7 months to put all of that down on paper. And what came out was the company that we run now. We work with corporations across the US within their sales and their communication alignment teams to really talk about, okay, what is the psychological effect of human connection, along with sales tactics that you can work on, along with nonverbal communication. So I put all three of those together, which again are a passion of mine that I thought that's what I'm missing. That's the thread and the needle that I was hoping to have every time we had a conference with someone speaking on stage about things and getting everyone completely excited, or we'd have someone come in and do a training for a day. The It's all great. The problem with that, though, is that there was no pull through. There was nothing to take tangible that was easy to say, yes, I could do that today. Yes, I could put that in my workflow today. It's really hard to change habits. And so, what are those recognizable things that we can do that are micro that can really set us up for success? That's what the company does.
That's awesome. Well, so let's talk a little bit about those tips, if you don't mind sharing some for the
Hmm.
for the entrepreneurs
Yeah.
listening. So a lot of people, take you back to 6 years ago when you're first starting your
Mhm.
company. Um, Client number 1. That's a big
Mhm.
one. Even if you have sales experience, you've been working in a corporate company, you're typically not the first salesperson on the floor doing the first sale.
Yeah.
For entrepreneurs, business owners, that can be really challenging and almost like the hardest thing is getting that first client. So, do you have any tips for the entrepreneurs that are where you are 6 years ago, and just getting going?
Get in the room. Get in every room you can get into. The very first year, I spoke and trained at any group, any free event, any place that had people in a seat. And really, what that did was supported me through what I was trying to find that would stick. So there were moments where, we would train on things and I could tell no one was really picking it up or they weren't really interested in what we were talking around. Okay, that's great. Let's either reframe it or throw it out and move forward. So it does a couple things. It gets you noticed. You're out there, you're doing everything, but then also you're sifting through what works and what doesn't work. If you are one that has to have everything in a booklet first, everything programmed first, that's not me, by the way. But if you have to do that, then I highly recommend now put it to the test before you start push marketing it. Does it really work? Is it something that people are going to pick up and use? That is the key there, right? And then that's the traction that's going to have. So if you have something that's tangible, if you have something that's interesting, people will come to it. People will start talking about it. That's your momentum. So the rooms that I were in are things like the easiest ones are things like co-working spaces. They're constantly looking for people to speak and do some sort of workshop. Chambers. Chamber events are always going on. Another really great, easy way to get in the door and get your name out there. Obviously, marketing, social media, all of those things are highly important. And to wrap all of that up, the biggest thing is consistency. If you do it once and think you're going to get clients, you're wrong. You have to be consistent. That doesn't mean perfect, by the way. It means consistent.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a really good tip because you were in your first year. You said you were, getting in every room that you could in that first year. It can take longer than we think. It typically
Mhm.
does. One of
Yeah.
my favorite entrepreneurs, who's a good friend of mine, I remember when I was striking out on my first business, he's like, you need to know it's always going to cost more than you think, and it's going to take way longer than you could ever presume.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that
Yes.
really stuck with me. And he was very correct.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I wanted
Yeah.
to prove him wrong. I wanted to be the one
Yeah.
that was
You're like, no, it's gonna be tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah, I got this, okay? But
Yeah.
no, he was right, of course. Okay, so speaking about the current sales, industry right now, things that work in sales, things that aren't working in sales, let's talk about, um, some like, with founders right now, what problem do you see most of them coming to you with to help solve in their sales process? What are people really needing help with right now?
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication, hands down. And that's why I always say, our company, that's what we work on. We are a sales training company, but we're not going to do the 1990s sales training that you may think of out there in the world. We're really going to work on communication. Communication is what drives everything. If you don't have it internally, you're going to miscue. If you don't have it with your clients, you're going to miscue. We are so traditionally trained to, okay, you need to go follow up. Um, Great. I know I need to follow up. I don't know what to say. Communication, right? I've followed up 3 times and now I'm at a loss. I don't want to bug them. Communication tactics, negotiating skills. I just had this with a client this morning on how to negotiate with a client who's coming in with lowballing. That is common, very common. What is your worth? Where's your walkaway line? What more can you give besides cost? There's so many things to think about there in those variables, and then designing the conversation track around it. Do you lead a meeting efficiently? 71% of meetings are inefficient and unproductive in corporate.
Wow,
71.
that's
Right?
wild.
So if we think about that, and I'll give you another crazy stat in corporate in general, $1.2 billion is lost annually due to poor communication in corporate. Communication is
Wow.
key. So if we are going to move that forward, we have to use the technology that is out there, and we have to combine that with this human centric piece of who we are and what will always matter, within sales, and then really design how are we going to have those conversations to connect and have mutual success.
Wow, those are not surprising, but still shocking.
Staggering
Yeah.
topics. Yeah.
Wow. Like, which is so funny
Yeah.
because actually my partner right now, she's in IT. She's on a 6-hour meeting.
Oh my gosh.
So think
Yeah.
about I
Oh,
hear that 71%
yeah.
statistic and I'm like,
You're
man,
like,
how
oh, I know someone right now. That's
Oh, I used to be a teacher, Amy, and we had meetings like crazy, which was so hard because we only had certain amounts of time to prep during the day. And so our but like people love to take our prep time with meetings.
uh-huh.
And towards the end of my tenure as a teacher, I was so putting my foot down. I was like, this meeting can be 15 minutes. It does not need to be an hour. We all default to an hour because there's something in our brain that says all these meetings need to
Yeah.
be an hour. And I was like, I'm challenging all of us to get every single thing done in 15 minutes. Now, sometimes it would go to 20,
Yeah.
25, but hey, that's better than an hour
Not
of
an
just
hour.
sitting there
Yes.
yapping.
Yeah.
So that is, wow, that's just interesting. And I think, poor communication is a huge part of that. So, very, very interesting. Okay, let's go on to another question I have for you. So, one of my important questions for you was follow up
Mhm.
because a lot of entrepreneurs do feel, oh my gosh, I'm bugging this person.
Mhm.
I've already asked 3 times, but yet we also know statistics about how many touch points you need to actually get a sale.
Mhm.
But it can just feel very icky or
Mhm.
awkward or whatever. And so I love that one of the main things you just talked about is that, if you come at it with the right communication, the right tactics, it doesn't have to feel that way. So can you share a few tips for the person who's like, okay, I'm on my fourth time of maybe trying to reach out to this person and it's
Yeah.
feeling weird. Amy, what do I do?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Follow up is one of the major things that we discuss and train on due to what you said. So I just want to throw back to everyone that's listening here. If you are on a newer journey with all of this, I would like you to know that the people I work with that have been in sales for 20 years still have issues with this. This is a human construct. This is not something, oh, well, I just need to get over this. It is part of who we are as humans on a psychological level to where we don't want to bother. We don't want to be a nuisance. We don't want to be annoying. That's a great thing to have that trigger to say, oh, I don't want to be that annoying person in the room. What we need to do is shift that mindset to say, I have a business, product, or service that I am selling, and who I am contacting needs that. They're going to get it from somewhere. So whether it's you or somewhere else, they're getting it. They are expecting people to reach out to them for that service or product, or they're going to come looking for it, one of the two, because they can't function. That's the beauty of mutual success within business. So, thinking, first of all, mindset shift on that. Secondly, throwing back to stats, people say no 4 times before they say yes. It's an automatic. No does not mean a blanketed no. No means maybe they ghosted you on an email, or maybe they said, which is huge right now. Well, can you just hit me in Q1 instead of Q4? The holidays are coming up, whatever that is. Um, that is a soft no to throw you into that follow up, right? So those are kind of the stats. So throwing out there, okay, we need at least 5 follow-up touch points. There's 2 different scenarios here. If you've met with them already, then the goal there is to keep that momentum moving. So making sure that you're setting up the next time to talk to them when you did talk to them before. If they're like, yeah, Q1 is great. Can you send me something there? Yes, I absolutely can. How does the second week of February look for you for me to touch base with you? Then you have a set. We don't want to open that to say, yeah, I'll just check in with you, in the 3 months of Q1. We want to make sure that we're guiding that conversation always. So that looks a little bit different. Now, if this is completely cold outreach, and you're like, gosh, after the third or fourth time, I don't even know what to say. Then we can move them out a little bit. Maybe it's a monthly. And then what we want to do is not ask necessarily for time to pitch or to talk about what we can offer, but then really flip the script and bring the value in. So, for example, if I'm reaching out to someone and I have not heard from them, they haven't responded back, I'm going to flip it into, So I am contacting you today because I noticed on your website you had X amount of something. Here is what I find interesting of what I just read in an article lately. Thought you may be interested. Highlight paragraph 3 for you. Hope you have a great weekend. Right?
Nice.
That's it. We're going to move back from pitching and from selling. We are in a service mode when we're in sales. So we don't need to always be, here I am, here, buy now, here's my product. It's really what we can see that hopefully is value to them. Right? So that's kind of the shift on that. This follow up is such a big animal. But the last thing I'll say is this: when you do reach out, there is a cadence. Always have a cadence. Statistically, what it shows is that if you reach out in a shorter time in the beginning, so let's say 3 touch points in a day and a half, hold with me, I know that sounds a lot, and then you spread out a little bit, you will have more success because it is this priming that we're doing. So people are recognizing us and like, oh, and they will at least let you know, I'm not interested right now, or oh my gosh, thanks so much for getting back to me. I had a crazy week this week. Let's set something up, right? So we want to do it that way instead of the opposite, which is what I hear a lot. Well, I reached out to them 3 weeks ago. I thought I'd reach out to them again, in another week. Well, they don't even know who you are now. Like you are not their world.
Right.
Like we need to show up a little bit more. So that goes back to that mindset shift there. Now let's talk about those three. That can easily be this. Right now, a call, which is gonna 90% of the time go to voicemail, and then an immediate follow-up will get a higher response than any other type of flow that you do.
Mm.
So call first, leave a voice message. In your voice message, you're gonna say, "Hi, this is Amy from Sales and Presence. I know you were not expecting my call today. I am interested in speaking to you about X and possibly supporting you within that journey. I'm gonna follow up with an email and give you a little bit more information. Hope you have a great day." We're not pitching. Again, we're not pitching, but we announced who we are. We also called out an elephant in the room, which psychologically brings that wall down a bit of like,
Yeah.
yes, thank you for being aware that you interrupted my day and you have no idea what's going on. Right. That's one of those things. And then we move on to the email. So there's your two right away.
Mm.
And then the second day, you can do whatever you want. You can call again, email again, LinkedIn request, whatever that is, and then move on. So you've already have three within a day and a half. Make it a little easier on yourself.
Gosh, that's good. I'm already and Amy, I've talked with you. You came on here and I was like, "You're a sales pro. I love this. I'm a sales pro. I love talking to sales pros." I just learned, I feel like that was a mini masterclass. So, for anyone who feels that way too, maybe you listen to this and you were like, "Holy crap, she just
Yeah.
really brought that home for me, made that very clear, very simple. I can go and take that now." You from even the part where we're talking about the follow-up, right? So, what is it like uh finish a meeting, book a meeting. Fam Bam, have you yeah, that thing, right?
Yes.
So Fam Bam, and I have done that recently. I just had someone say, "Super excited to talk to you in Q1." I did not go, "I will contact you the 2nd week in January. How does that sound?" I did not do that, and I'm, like, kicking
Yeah.
myself for it now, because it sounds so simple when you say that. And then I'm just like, cold calling can be just awkward or
That's brutal.
uncomfortable.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
But like
Yeah.
the way you just did it and like you said, addressing that elephant in the room right off the bat of, "Hey, I know you weren't expecting this call from me," but like that's such a great way to say that. So gosh, that was great. I will be going back and listening to that. Any entrepreneur struggling with sales too, or just wanting some sales insight, that was gold. So thank you for sharing that. That is
You're
awesome.
welcome. Yeah.
Okay, so for people who have newer businesses, what is a way that they can build trust quickly with their potential clients, especially if a lot of them are cold? If they don't have a big brand behind them yet, maybe they don't have a ton of case studies. How can they build some of that trust and get some of those first clients to say yes to them?
Ask more. Ask more, ask more, ask more. Stop telling.
Mhm.
Um, that is the biggest, I mean, that is a 101 in sales. And I just had one of my coaches the other day was on a one-to-one and she said afterwards, gosh, um, somebody came back to me and said, "Well, that seems obvious." And my response was, "Well, yes, everything we do is obvious. That doesn't mean it's easy."
Yeah.
Right? And that's why people don't do it. And that's why there's coaches and training because it is so helpful to have reminders and to be aware that this is human struggle. It is not just your struggle on an island. So I think, you know, we get stuck in this. Well, okay, I have this product or service. This is what I'm marketing. If I get you on the phone, then I'm going to immediately say, thank you for your time. So I'd like to go over, and you go right into I.
Mm,
You go right into, here's what we offer. Here's what I can do for you. Right.
mm,
Um, and what we need to do is round that out and take it into a curiosity mode of, what can I learn today?
mm,
What can I learn from this person that I don't know, that I'm hoping to be able to work with and build trust with? I need to know what their pain points are. I need to know who they are. I need to know how they run their operation. I need to know what sucks for them on a day to day. I need to know, if they're using a service that's like mine, what they love about it, because then I know I need to at least match that and raise.
mm,
Right? So there are so many things there that we need to sit back a little bit more and ask. I'll give you a story of mine. So second year in, I was also, if anyone else was in this stage, everyone that's an entrepreneur has gone through this daily. I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this. Is this really going to fly? I don't really know. Maybe give it another year. Like, gosh. And then I did an online, this was through COVID. We launched in COVID. So through COVID, I got a online request of, hey, we want you to do like this series for this association. Um, didn't pay much, but that's okay. I'm in front of people. Like, great. That association had two people in it that then went to the larger national association because they knew the national association was looking for something new, some sort of new sales training. So they contacted me. I had never been in that market, that industry. So we start talking. They're like, well, it's a day and a half program. And the first thing that I think of is, I have an hour program. I do not have a day and a half program. Like, so I easily could have started really pitching and reeling there. And so I immediately sat back and started asking 1,000 questions. What do you like about the contract you have with the trainers today? What is missing? What would you like going forward? Uh, does anything need to be streamlined? What type of training do they do? Do they do workshop training? Do they have a PDF? Do they have workbooks? Do they have flip charts? Did they do breakouts? There was so much in that hour. I did not talk about me at all.
wow.
And what I gained there is so much more than I ever would have if I just said, these are all the things I could do. Because I could, of course, talk about everything that I feel is amazing
Mm,
in the role that I play. But that doesn't matter to them. That doesn't matter to them. So I would say the biggest thing is to ask more questions. If you are going into a meeting with someone and it's cold and you're just getting to know them, you should have an agenda, some sort of agenda, whether it's written out or in your head. And in that, you should have your talking points, what you want out of it. But then I want you to go back through that and see if how many of those talking points can actually be flipped into a question.
mm.
That's how you do that.
Oh, that's
So
good.
I could say, oh, well, we have a line of training for networking or marketing. Do you want, is that something that is thrown in there today? Instead, I can say something like, tell me about the networking piece of what's going on today within your training. So then
Yeah.
I'm not coming at it in my side. I want to learn from them. That's the easiest way to switch it, is
Yeah.
to think about what your statements are and how you can flip that into a question.
That's so good. And you get way more out of your conversations for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Going at it with a curiosity approach rather than a prescriptive
Mhm.
approach.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I host my sales calls too. And you may even go in with preconceived ideas like, oh, this person really is
Totally.
probably going to need this, right? Their,
Mhm.
website's a little dated. I think that they would
Yep.
need help with that. And then really what it turns out is they want, LinkedIn messaging automation, like something you would have never thought of.
Yeah.
And of course, this is me talking about my AI business here, but
Yeah.
right. I mean, if you go in just saying, this is what I offer, this is what I can give for you, I think you need this. Well, you don't really know that unless you've talked to them.
Mhm.
They may already have 5 people in line trying to give them this exact
Yeah.
same thing, and they've already got someone hired and they're happy with them. You know, so I think asking questions is wonderful. If I go in a meta version of it for a minute, it's kind of like the podcast. Like, so I
Yeah.
love doing this podcast because I ask questions. So my goal is to get all of our listeners to learn something or be inspired by our guest. And selfishly, I want to learn and be inspired myself. And I don't
Yeah.
do it by coming in and just telling my guest
Right.
what
Right.
to say or what
Yeah.
to do. It's just asking questions, and from that, you can get just a wealth of insight and knowledge.
And I will say on that regard too, then the client, the potential client that will be your client eventually, comes to their own conclusion about what they need. So they're
Mhm.
not people um, do not want to be sold to. They want to be a partnership within it.
Yeah,
So we want to give that partnership opportunity. We want to say, because that's way more fun for me. It's like,
yeah,
man, let's talk about this together. What
yeah.
can we create together? And the other thing that I hear a lot within salespeople, especially tenured, is like, well, if I don't go through everything, then they're not going to know everything we have. Well, who cares?
Yeah. They don't need
Um,
it probably.
they don't need it. And the value, which is such an overused word in sales and business right now, but value, all value is. It is not your product, it's not your service. It is what matters to them in the moment. That's
Mm,
all value is.
that's
So if
golden.
you have 10 products and none of them matter, you have nothing that's of value to them right now.
Yeah.
However, if you have a connection and they're like, gosh, how do we figure out how to do business with you?
Mm,
That's your value.
that's
And they will
awesome.
figure it out and they will move that needle with you. Yeah.
100%. That is so good. The value is what the client is wanting the most, is needing the
Mhm.
most right then and there. That is what's of
Yeah.
value. 100%. Oh, that's good. See, Masterclass Amy, this is I'm glad you went out on your own back then whenever you were thinking
Oh,
about doing
thanks.
something different because this certainly suits you, and I know a lot of people need help with these things. There are
Yeah.
some people popping up in my mind as I'm talking to you. They're entrepreneurs. They have recently launched businesses,
Mhm.
and Amy, they are terrified of the
Yeah.
sales piece. They, are extremely capable, ridiculously bright people that I'm thinking of, in tech, in software, a lot of them in like, just like very advanced technical skills,
Mhm.
okay? And they have businesses that they have just launched and they are really struggling with the sales piece. It's a lot of, I think, doubt, insecurity, uncertainty, a lack of confidence. What do you say to the person who is just struggling with feeling like they can actually do sales?
Yeah.
How do you help someone who's either scared or nervous or just really hesitant? How do you how do you get them to realize first of all that they can do this?
Mhm.
And honestly, it's vital to their company. If they don't have it, then they don't have a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So oh, there's so many things there. I love everything you just said there. Um, so a lot of it is a preset thought that we have about what sales is. Daniel Pink is somebody that everyone should look up. He wrote the book To Sell Is Human. Um, and he did a study with 5,000 people and asked them what words came up when they thought of a salesperson and what visual came up when they thought of a salesperson. And hands down the word pushy came up. That was the number one word, and then the used car salesman in the polyester suit
Yeah.
was the visual, right?
Yeah.
We are so, trained as a society in a we all have norms in society to think of a salesperson that way. So we default to that and think, "Oh my gosh, I don't but they're so outgoing. They're kind of, maybe they're kinda sleazy. I don't know, like, how do I do any of that?" And I will say that, I've met maybe 1 or 2 in my life that may fit the bill on that, word and that visual. The best salespeople I know are the opposite.
Mm,
They're the ones that, can be outgoing, but usually are a little bit more introverted. They can see big picture, they can see design, they can see, how they can support and help, and they solve problems really well, i.e., everyone that you're thinking about right now. Um, so the mindset shift of and the psychology side of this is huge. Of really, what is a salesperson? I mean, it's somebody that has figured out and practiced how to talk to people. That's all it is. And being curious and wanting to support and help. The flip of that is that confidence is not something we think a lot about charisma and confidence with people and how they show up in a room as, oh man, they just have that thing, right? They have that it factor. Hell no, they don't. No one is born with that. That is a practiced, learned behavior.
Mm.
It is practice exactly like anything that anyone that's listening really loves and has practiced for thousands and thousands of hours, whether it's a musician, a dancer, a runner, IT, whatever that is, it's the exact same thing. You have to practice it. Confidence does not come from a sideline.
Mm.
So that is something that we have to step into. So I'll give you a couple. If we're thinking around our psychology and how we make up with confidence, a lot of it is nonverbal cues. So power skills for you here, one that seems, again, obvious, but not something that we think about enough, is your posture. Posture is what attracts people or detracts people. So, one of the biggest cues to detract right now is that phone that's in your hand or at the table right now that's 2 inches away from you, always. That is something that puts us in what we call low power pose in nonverbal communication. We want to put that completely away. We want to be in high power pose, which is good posture. Right?
Mm.
That tells people and cues people that we're open to communication and connection. The other thing it does is that it helps your breathing.
Mm.
It helps you with your confidence. Psychologically, if you stand in a mirror for 1 to 2 minutes with high power pose, we've seen this with Ted Lasso. There's a show in one of those shows or episodes where she does this. We see it. Amy Cuddy is somebody that you all can look up as well. She has a TED Talk around this, second most viewed TED Talk of all time, of how posture creates confidence for you.
Yeah.
So that's number one. We have got to get in our world of what makes us confident, right? Instead of like, oh, I just have to power through and then somehow I will. No, we have to start practicing these things. The other thing, which I tell people, I tell all of my um, coaches, the coaches tell our people that we're training, the best thing to do before you start outreaching or before you go to a networking event or before you're doing any of those things is to take 5 minutes and remember who you are.
Mm.
Get out of your head a little bit. Take 5 minutes, write it down if you can, because writing will help that. But who are you? Like, what makes you amazing? If that call goes to hell, if it is the worst call of your life, if it is a meeting where like, oh my gosh, I just went blank and I didn't even know what to say, how embarrassing. What are the things about you that are never going to change,
Mm.
that are absolutely never going to change and hold rock solid when you get out of that meeting?
Mm.
And it's mundane. It's mundane things. So it's the things that I said in the beginning. I am a coffee fan. I love my coffee. I right now I have a dog sitting on my lap. Those are the things that I treasure that are who make me who I am that won't ever change with a bad conversation or something that I tripped up on. And then the beauty of that is that you're failing forward constantly to learn.
Mm.
So you're not failing anything, you're learning in real time. What can I do better? How can I shift this? How can I, make sure that I am in my posture, that I do have those words down, that I've practiced more. That'll get you your confidence there.
Oof, those that again, wealth of knowledge there. I also I the second you were talking about posture, Ted Lasso is what popped in my head. I got that image of
Yes.
her doing her big, thing in the
Oh,
mirror, and I love that
yes.
scene. It's so good. And you're
So
right, like,
good.
it helps your breathing. Like, I can tell even if I'm in meetings or, filming the podcast, like, I'll start feeling my breath constrict a bit, and then I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I am, like, hunched over here," which sometimes it's me just trying to
Yeah.
get closer to my microphone. But, like, even just, a little earlier, I was like, "I need to, like, prop up," because I can tell that
Yeah.
my breathing's a little
Yep.
squished at the moment. So that is wonderful, and that's something anyone can do. Anyone can stand in front of a
Yeah.
mirror and work on your posture, and it's wild how much that can actually affect your confidence in real time.
Mhm.
And the
Yep.
5-minute break I think is amazing. I spoke to another wonderful salesperson on a previous podcast. Her name was Chloe, and she said she does the same thing. She pauses for 5
Mm.
minutes. She's like, sometimes you just have to. And she's like, it's great. You just kind of get back into
Mhm.
yourself. She's like, you
Yeah.
breathe, you really center like your energy so that you go because their energy is whatever it's going to be, but you can
Mhm.
go in there, really aligned, really focused and grounded in who you are. So I
Yeah.
think that's a wonderful, wonderful tip.
Mhm. There's
So
a
oh,
there's
go.
a statement or a quote out there, and I can't remember exactly how it's stated, but I to my soul love it. It's like, "Do not, bow to the energy in the room, be the energy in the room."
Oh, that's good.
So the more you practice your confidence and the more you practice your centering, you are going to shift. You're gonna be able to shift to that energy in the room just by walking into it.
Mhm.
Um, I've had a couple past clients ask me, "What's the best kind of advice that you've had, or who have you met that kind of embodies everything that you would think of as someone who's a really great communicator, someone who really can just push the needle, like you're just always in awe of?" And it's always that.
Mm.
It's that person that walks into the room and everybody in the room immediately is like, "Hello, who are you? I need to talk to you. Why do I feel like I need to talk to you? You seem cool." Like there's this instant pull to that person. That is not charisma. That is practiced confidence.
Wow.
They were not born with that. And
Mm.
it's not ego either, by the way, right? It's not this, I call them puffer fish. It's not this puffer fish ego. It is a more of a silent confidence that invites people in. Um, and you can get there. You can get there. It's just practiced.
And don't be afraid to practice. I think that's
Yes.
the
Be
thing, like
awkward. Be
yes.
awkward, people. Go stand in your bathroom mirror and tell yourself how amazing you are. Put your hands on your hips. Be Superman, be Superwoman. You got this. Yeah, be awkward as all get out. It'll
Yeah.
help you.
It
Yeah.
really does. It
Mhm.
really does. And don't be afraid to fail because like you said, if you remind
Yeah.
yourself who you are before you go in, that whole thing can tank. It
Yeah.
can go up in flames. You still come out knowing you're the same person. You just learned
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
outside of it. So
Yeah.
I love that. Now some of the things I am thinking of are kind of how technology can help sometimes. So,
Mm.
of course, my mind goes to AI a lot of the time because that's what
Yep.
I love. And I'm thinking of, there's like new AI tech where people can record those conversations and go back and learn from them. I think that can help
Mhm.
people learn from well, and there are some that are happening in real time too. If they are
Yes.
on Zoom calls or something, they can get real time
Yep.
feedback while they're in a sales call, which is amazing. And so I think that that can always help someone who's a little unsure of how to succeed in sales and how to close deals. What are you seeing in the AI world and the tech world that's actually being helpful for sales right now?
So many things. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. AI and tech it moves the sales forward, right?
Mm.
Um, so I think those who are hesitant to use it, you should just get on board. It's not going anywhere. You're going to be way behind if you're not using it today. Those that are worried that you may sound AI or it's going to take away who you are, obviously play around with it, get it to know who you are so it does sound like you, but then also never copy and paste. I mean, we know that, right? Let's not move completely away from being human. Um, there's so many things that you can do with it. So I would say, right now, the biggest, I guess I'll just tell you what we're doing over here to
Yeah.
use it. So I use it daily, constantly for all of my posts. All my LinkedIn posts are drafted by AI. I reframe it to make sure that it's me, and I don't know if anybody's ever used AI for that, but it loves emojis, so that we'll take those out.
Yeah.
Um, so we're adjusting, right, in real time, but it's a tool. That's, I think, what we forget is that we have so many tools. It's just another tool. We have a CRM system. That's a tool. Um, However, we are using AI right now to develop our own CRM system internally, which has been phenomenal. Um, But it's still a tool, right? It helps us with our day to day. To your point with the practice, we partner with a company called Virtual Sapiens that are at the forefront of training real AI. They do the nonverbal side of things as well. So when you get on there and you start talking or you're doing your pitch, it will tell you in real time, your lighting's not great if you're going to do a virtual, your posture is not great. Eye contact is you need work on that, those type of things. And then it will go through how you present it as well. So that's something that is, we as a company offer that and have that embedded in our services. It's also a standalone for people. So there's so many different aspects of how technology and AI are really moving that forward.
That's awesome. I love all the different ways you're already using it yourself. What's your favorite kind of go-to thing right now to use personally?
Personally, because I'm not in the trenches of things every single day, it's probably chat.
Yeah.
Just due to figuring some of those conversations out. Even reframing. We do a lot of reframing for clients here. So they'll do, let's say they have a follow-up program and they have a 7-step cadence and they have those pre-programmed, pre-written. We will go back through with AI to see what we can change with words that are diminisher words, words that make us feel or sound less valued, words that sell. There are actually words that sell, so making sure that those are in those conversations, and then we take it from there back to me. And then reframe that to make sure that it's set up properly, visually and context wise. But I use that daily for
That's
that
awesome.
stuff.
I love it,
Yeah.
and like you said, it doesn't change the fact that you are still putting your unique thumbprint
Mhm.
on these things. It's just saving you probably hours of time and a
So much
lot of
time.
right? And a lot of creative output because it takes your battery away,
Yeah.
to draft everything from scratch, and, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you wanna do that, great, but if really what you wanna do is kinda work with something that's already kinda halfway there, that just
Mhm.
helps so much. So,
Yeah.
I love to hear the way that you're using tech all the time right now to really make things better for you. Now, on the flip side, what do you think in the sales process will always have to be rooted in human touch? What will not be able to be replaced by AI or technology, in your opinion?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, the trust factor.
Mm,
That building that trust factor will always be a human connection. It will always be a human touch. You may get someone who comes at you and says, "Yeah, let's do a deal," or "Yeah, I want that service." I guarantee you that at some point within, it's going to be a financial transaction and not a relationship.
mhm,
So that's fine if it's a one and done and if it's just that financial type of transaction. However, most companies are looking for and wanting those relationships to be built. So that's the line of, we can use that as a support. However, we need to come in to build that trust factor, to stay curious, to learn. I still, going back to our earlier conversation on this and how to do that, I have clients that I've worked with and people I've known for 20 years now. And every single time I get on a call or a meeting with them, the top of my page is, what can I learn?
mm,
Because we forget a lot of times that life happens, that people change, companies change, things are fluid. I change. I may not, I may have, like my dog was sick last week. And so there was just messes everywhere in the house. And like, I was like, oh, right.
oh,
And so if somebody got on the phone with me and I was their client and they'd be like, so tell me how your week's going. I would have been like, game on, you know what's going on? And that is something that is a universal, everyone has experienced or known people who have experienced that, right? And so it's just part of that human connection and really staying curious and top of mind about what's going on with them instead of calling and saying, hey, so I know we have this review of contract and here's what I'm thinking.
mm,
Right? That lessens that. So
mm.
keeping that forward, I think, is the most important.
That is so good. I love that.
This episode is sponsored by our guest, Amy Reczek's company, Sales and Presence. Amy and her team help businesses strengthen the communication, confidence, and sales skills that actually move relationships forward through sales training, coaching, nonverbal communication, and human-centered strategy. Sales and Presence helps teams connect better, follow up more faithfully, and close with more confidence. Check out salesandpresence.com to learn more.
All right. So another question for you is, with your business, you've been doing it about 6 years now. I'm sure I know the answer to it, but I'd love to hear it from you. What has been the most rewarding part for you so far?
Ooh, you know the answer? I wanna
Feel
know
like
what
I
your answer
probably
is.
do.
I wanna
I
know your answers.
I'm assuming it's helping those salespeople really break through something that
Okay.
has been hard for them, or has been something that, maybe even getting that first deal, or getting that whatever that thing is that they have been like trying to work on, and then you see them achieve it
Mhm.
or flip through or have a
Yeah.
mindset, breakthrough.
Yeah.
Some type of breakthrough is my thought,
Yeah.
but I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
You are no, you are spot on. Um, I when I think about this question, I think, gosh, there's so many things that have nothing to do with, uh, what I think that they would have been. Ask me this 6.5 years ago, what would you feel like your biggest accomplishment or thing that gets you so excited about doing what you do? Um, I think the answer would have been more about selfish,
Mm,
and it just is absolutely the opposite now. I get to work with people who put their hands in the dirt, who really are like, let's do this, um, and they get really vulnerable.
mm.
That's what I love about it. We can do a one-to-one, and I cannot weekly. I hear from people, "Oh, you're like my business therapist." Because
Right.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Sales and sales as a whole is one of those things that you don't pick up lightly. It's something that's practice. You have to learn to hold on to your self-worth while having things like no's roll off of you because it's not about you. Those are things that are hard in the beginning, and then really figuring out your rhythm and who you are and what type of salesperson you want to be and what's your journey, and then business structure and corporate that comes into that. I mean, there's just so many layers to that, that it is a lifelong profession of practice.
Mm.
And so to get to work with people who are vulnerable. And by the way, I just saw Brene Brown like a month ago, and so she talks about vulnerability all the time.
Love
What I
her.
loved about her talking about that was that when we think of the word, we think of it as something that is a less than or a weakness. And if we think of anything hard in our life, we've all gone through stuff. Anything that's been hard in our life, that has been the most vulnerable
Mm.
parts of our life, which are also the strongest moments of our life.
Yeah.
So if you feel like vulnerability is something that's scary to you, I would say step into it more because it's your strength.
Ooh.
And so I get to see that with these people every single day, where then they come back and they say, Aim, I went to the conference, I did the presentation we practiced. I really worked on the different ways that we came into that, the threads through the presentation, all the things that you talked about, practice that. And I had so much feedback on how great it was. So that's the
Mm.
gift that comes back to me that I was not expecting, of so many amazing humans doing amazing things for mutual success, and really diving in and practicing those things. It's extremely exciting to
Oh,
see.
I love that. That
Mhm.
just tells me, again, you're in the exact place that you should be. The fact that it's seeing your clients succeed, right?
Right.
It's seeing your purpose fulfilled.
Yeah.
Um, so on the flip side of that, I also like to ask, because it was probably a shock going to business owner after being
Mhm.
in, sales for other companies. What was something that was challenge for you, or maybe it's a challenge you have right now that you weren't expecting, when you first decided to flip to an entrepreneur versus an employee?
The entire part of being an entrepreneur.
The whole
Can
journey.
I just say that? All of it. All of
Yeah.
the behind the scenes, the like check the boxes, the having to have a legal person, having to, make sure that my company is in good standing, having to have a bookkeeper, I mean, bleh. I those things are just not I am a true put me in front of people, let me talk to people, let's get our hands like dirty and let's go. I am not the back end person. That has been a struggle. I never was, looking to be one. Like, it was never a calling of mine or something where I was thinking, "Oh, I should, open a company someday." Never, never on my radar. It really came from a love and frustration of where I was in life at the moment, and was just like, "I'm just gonna do this." The exact same thing, I had a, networking company for a while that was it was part of this, but we did monthly networking events, and again, it was getting people together in the same room. I can do that. Right, and so, that came super easy to me, but the reason that I did that was because when I was creating this, I was in a new setting still in Colorado, and I was like, "Well, I need to network, so I'm gonna go to these networking events." I was like, "These are not the events that I'm looking for." Like,
Mm,
I don't want bestie time. I
mm.
I want people that are coming to actually talk about business, to get, business cards, to move the needle. So, because I wasn't finding it, I just created it.
Nice.
But again, like all of the back end stuff, I was like, ugh, ugh. So those are the things that I don't love. I still don't love. I wasn't expecting because I just didn't know. Um, but in hindsight, I think is a great gift as well. Like it has grown me so much of the side of things that I never would have known about. Um, the really recognizing where I need to offload to people in their expertise instead of holding things has been a major shift for me. So there's been a lot of learning and adjustment along the way, but I would say that's the biggest one.
That I love hearing you say that. A lot of people have answered, bookkeeping, accounting, and it's so
Hmm.
difficult, and you do get into business building, and then you're like, "Oh, no, I have to do all that? This is not what I
Yeah.
was signing up for. I just wanted to create this wonderful
Yeah.
thing and put it out there." So those things can be very difficult, and it is hard to kind of relinquish some of those things, delegate some
Mhm.
of those things, but man, it certainly feels good once you do. So,
Yes. Yes.
wonderful answer.
I would
Let's
say, can I add to
Oh,
that?
yeah. Yes,
Can
please.
I add to that?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I know I'm probably taking way too much time now, but
No, I love
I
this.
I would say one of the best things for anyone. We talk about this for salespeople as well in corporate, but for someone who's an entrepreneur or doing your business, is to figure out who's on your personal board.
Mhm.
So, think of a nonprofit, and they have a board, right? And those people at the seat of in those boards have certain roles. So maybe you have an accountant there, you maybe have a legal team there, someone who's super active in the community, whatever it is that sits on that board. You need a personal board. This does not mean your bestie. This does not mean your partner. Um, it means people who can actually support and help move the needle with you.
Hmm.
So that is a huge thing. We all tend to do it on some level. If you've ever worked in corporate, you've done it, whether you recognize it or not. I will say men are naturally better at this than women. They don't do it in a formal way like this, but they definitely know how to create that sphere and that action to move them forward. We intentionally, women, gram onto more of that partnership of let's go have a glass of wine, let's be that partnership, and to level that up, whether you're man or woman, is to really have that personal board and design it in a way that supports you the best. So who are those people that will tell you with love that you need to look at your blind spots?
Mm.
Who are those people that will come in and say, actually, let's talk about year 3 to 5? Um, those are the people that you need. So you need those risers. You need people who have been in the industry, whatever industry you're in, for 200 years, that have all the knowledge in the world. Tap those people. They don't need to know that they're on your board.
Right?
They don't need to know, but really recognize and be really cognitive about that, of like, where am I going and who's going with me to support me? Because we can spin easy. I don't know if you've had this experience, and maybe some listeners have too, of, gosh, well, I just need somebody to do this. And then we can go anywhere to get that. And that doesn't mean it's going to be good. And it may be cheap, it may be expensive. So we really need to start designing that well to move us forward.
Oh, that's good. And what could you for people who are really intrigued by that idea of having a personal
Right.
board, yeah, like who are we looking for to,
Yeah, you're looking
you know
for it. So I'll just give you an example of what I did. So
Yeah.
when I started this, I reached out to people that I worked with for years and years that I trusted. It was like, so I'm doing this. Number one, am I nuts? Like tell me if I'm crazy. Here's the company name. What do you think? Here's the logo. So if any of you have seen my logo, you're gonna love it or hate it. And that was a big one because it's my initials, but the A is a heel.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so I
Yeah.
was like, well, I don't know, and I needed feedback on that. So really those people that I had worked with in the past, that I had respected, in my companies, the companies that I worked for, but also my clients.
Mm.
So I tapped a couple clients to say, "You've known me for a long time. What are your thoughts on this? Where do you think I could raise up more?" Because they knew exactly how I sold. They knew exactly what I was gonna develop. Um, I have still a mentor that's still a client today that, we will set up time and they will talk about, okay, how's the business? Because they've owned businesses in the past of, watch for this, do this. Other people on my board are people that will educate me and they'll never know it. So people that I follow, Simon Sinek, Brene Brown, Amy Cuddy, Zoe Chance, all these people that are, way up here that I probably won't ever meet, but they give me guidance every single day because they're in that human side of business and they talk about it a lot and I can gain knowledge from that. So you design it however you want, but it's really important to have those checks and balances.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Having a personal board that I'm going to rewind and listen to that again because that is such a unique idea and thought. And I think that that can really help you at any step of your entrepreneurial
Yes,
journey to have that
implement.
board in place. That is awesome. If someone Googled your company right now and landed on your website, would they lean in and want to learn more, or would they quietly say, yikes, and close the tab? Your website is your first impression, and it's either drawing clients in or losing deals right and left. Whether we like it or not, people do still judge books by their covers, and your clients are making decisions about your business before they ever even reach out. At my company, Archer Collaborative, we design high-end strategic websites for businesses whose founders are ready for their online presence to finally align with the quality and professionalism they bring to their clients every day. Our designs are not just pretty. We bring full custom layouts, clear positioning, intentional structure, and smart systems behind the scenes, so your site actually supports your growth. If your business is doing incredible work, but your website still looks like you built it at 11 p.m. 3 years ago, then it's time to let us help you. Visit archercollaborative.com today and let's build something that is finally worthy of your business and its stellar reputation. So you've been around for 6 years now. I am thinking about talking with you obviously sooner than a year from now, but I love to ask if we're chatting this time next year, what is your hope for your company in this next, the end of 2025 right now into 2026? Are you looking forward to some things? Are you working on some stuff? What are you hoping to see in this coming year?
Oh, if my ops, I'm gonna give a shout out to Melanie right now. If my head of ops could chime in right now, she would I know she would say, "Everything. We're working on everything," because that's what she does at year end.
Love it.
Is
Love
I
it.
come in and I say, "Here's our list. This is what I wanna do for the next year," and she will always say, "Good, let's prioritize," and I'll say, "No, we're gonna do it all." Um, so
All of it. All of it right now at the
all
same
of it,
time.
right now, all of it. Um So first and foremost, we come together at Q4 and really talk around how are we going to design 26 or the coming year. What do we want to look for? What did we gain this year? What are some things that maybe were setbacks? Really start looking at that from a strategic level. The center of that, the heart of everything we do are our clients.
Mm.
So making sure that our clients are served well, making sure that we're growing with them in real time. Uh, that means either pivoting product wise, service wise, training content wise, or maybe it's timing, whatever it is for them, is really at the forefront. So we ask every year. We put time on calendar with clients and say, so year over year, what are we looking for? In 26, what are your goals? What is important for you? Where's the growth that you want to have? Growth is always a dollar number, but there's so many other things involved in that. So how do we get to that dollar number? Where do you need us more? Those are things that we look at first. And then once we have that, um, I'm always moving 5 steps ahead. So, what do I want this company to be? Where do I want this company to sit? How do I want it to impact corporate? And people within in corporations and in sales and business and communication. And then we take it from there. So this coming year, we have this entire year in 25. I've been working on my second book. So the second book will launch in February. I just got the date. Very exciting.
Oh my
February
gosh.
17th,
That's
people.
soon. That's
Yeah,
so
soon.
soon.
Very soon. Yes.
Yay.
So I'm very excited about that because the book actually puts the entire framework of how we train to the masses.
Nice.
So that's kind of the design of the book. So you don't need to even go to a training anymore. You can just read the book.
Can you
Um,
share the title or are we not allowed right now?
yeah, the title's called Connect to Close.
Connect to
So
close?
connect to close. Yep.
Mhm.
So really looking how you're connecting to move things forward, to close, to have a conversation, to do all the things. Um, and it has a method, a methodology in it that we train on, but it'll be in the book as well. So that's number one. Two is that we're actually, because of the book, we are supporting that with a bit of a slight rebrand. I don't want to really call it a rebrand, but it's slight. We're redoing the website to promote more of the training aspect. And then we're moving me as a speaker, author, executive consultant to a speaker page instead, so that you can see that because we have multiple trainers on staff now. And so we can do that. The other thing that's really important that we keep coming up with and evolving is that we are a boutique firm, which means we are not necessarily interested in kind of the hamster wheel of signing people up, and we're going to do a class next month, sign up now type of thing. We want to go really deep with you. We want to make sure that we are not presenting a training and then we're hands off and we're out of your life. Uh, Due to that was exactly what I was missing in corporate.
Mm,
Right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to get into that mode, where we're not servicing authentically to where we need to be. So we really want to design and work with companies and people within a setting that we take care of them for their success and their path. So the other thing that we are doing for that for the masses, because I know that that's definitely something that's needed, is that we have an online course that will also be launched
nice.
in 26. So people can grab that and do that on their own time and their own design.
Oh, that's exciting. I love stuff like that. I've helped people put together a lot of courses like that, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful. Like
Yeah.
being able again, it's the digital age, like, one of
Mhm.
the pros about it I know it comes with a ton of problems, no doubt, but the fact that you can Amy is only one person. You only have
Yeah.
so many hours in a day. We can
Yeah.
only get so much of you. You can only give so much, to
Yeah.
Brené Brown's point
Right. Right.
of right?
Yeah.
Like, however much you feed yourself, love yourself, you can only give that much back to people. So, uh the digital world helps us be able to help more people without
Mhm.
sucking out our batteries even more. In fact, like, we
Yes.
get a lot of that energy back. So I love that you're utilizing that to reach more people and to help more people. Because again, sales are so vital and so many people want to
Mhm.
start businesses. They want to succeed.
Yeah.
They are tired of working for other people. Um, but what kills you is the inability to sell. Is what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Mhm.
If your business isn't selling, then the business goes out. Like, that just
Yeah.
is what happens. So, I love that you're making the most vital piece of business more readily available to the masses. So that's gonna be
Thank
awesome.
you.
Very
Yes.
exciting things to look forward
Yes.
to. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really excited to hear about this. I'm gonna go ahead and book in with you at some point in a few months to talk about the book,
Let's
talk
do
about
it.
the course.
Yeah.
Like, that's just exciting. Okay, so on that topic, that's kinda fun because you talked about this at the perfect time because my next question for you is, and you can't unfortunately say your own book for this answer, but if you could recommend a book or a podcast, and we can't recommend this podcast either, a book or a podcast or a social media profile for people to check out, what have you been enjoying lately that you would like to recommend?
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones lately. But one that is like a true mainstay for me is "Influence is Your Superpower" by Zoe Chance. Uh,
Ooh.
that book is phenomenal.
Okay.
She is a professor. She talks around obviously human connection, how we influence to act. Um, it's phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. I will praise her at any time I can. So I would say that is like my true one that I always go back to. So if you haven't seen that book or read that book yet, I highly recommend that one.
Okay, good. And then, of course, yours, February 17th,
Of course.
2026,
Yes, of
everybody.
course. Of
Get
course.
ready. Can people find that on Amazon, on your
They
website,
can.
the book?
Yep,
Okay.
they can.
So it will be on Amazon, which I'll
It
get to
will.
that in a second. But okay, the
Yes.
next last question here. If you have one message that our entrepreneur listeners can take away from our chat today, what would that one message be?
So I'm going to take a page out of James Clear's book with Atomic Habits of I heard him speak last month, and one of the things he said was, "What what is the checkbox for you today? What is the checkbox that you can say, 'Yep, I did that today to better me. Yep,
Mhm.
I did that today to better my company.'" What are those things that you're going to do? Um, for me, one of the hardest things now for me, since I tend to just run hot in life, like I'm, going, 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 is to really focus on my health, getting out into the sunshine, doing those things. Like today, this afternoon, I'm shutting the laptop after we're done and I'm going to go for a run. Highly intentional. Could I be sitting at my laptop till 9 p.m.? Yep, 100%. So it's a checkbox for me to do something for me.
Mm,
When I have days where I'm like, gosh, I just don't really want to show up today. Okay, that's fine. What's one small checkbox I can do? Maybe it's just responding to an email.
mm.
Maybe if follow up is your death sentence, it is it is starting with one email out. Maybe
Mm,
that's what it is.
yeah.
And that's your checkbox for the day. So thinking of it because consistency and habits are things that I feel like immediately are overwhelming.
Yes.
And so I roll it all the way back to like, what's my one? What's my one checkbox that I can do today? And then I guarantee you're gonna be like, oh well, wait, I could do one more.
Yeah.
And then it'll evolve that. So I think that's my one takeaway for anyone doing anything is we think in big, but then let's practice in micro moments.
Mm.
And let's really set ourselves up for success because that big is only going to come with the moments that we're doing in the day to day. It's not going to come just thinking about it.
Oh, you're so true.
So
I feel
that's
like
it.
anytime I feel like that clenching in my chest or around my rib cage and stuff, it's because I've let the overwhelm seep in. And I,
Yes.
I don't know if you follow real estate at all, but Brandon Turner is a guy I really look up to. And he often says he calls it like MINS, which is the most
Mhm.
important next step. He's like, break
Yes.
it down. Just do
Yep.
like it's daily consistent action. Take that
Hmm.
what is that most important next step and take that.
Yep.
And you're right, just doing that
Yes.
one checkbox just helps
Yes.
tremendously, and yes, you're probably then gonna go do 3 or 4 more, and if not,
Yeah.
be
Be
grateful for the
happy
one.
with. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. On a psychological level, I will say this too to round this all out. This is normal. I will say that. This is normal. When you have that overwhelm and you have that, oh my gosh, I feel like I can't move or I freeze, or maybe you have a running response. So so maybe you like leave. You're like, nope, can't do it today. I got to go do this, 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 and that. I got to go clean the house. I got to go run errands. I have to do all these other things. So that's flight, right?
Mm,
Um, Fight or flight. We've all heard of that.
yep.
Freeze is in there. It is a human response to do things like that when we're overwhelmed
Mm,
or when we're scared or when we are less confident. It is a natural human response. The interesting part about that is that we are not normally um, fighting for our life, worried about a tiger coming up to eat us now, right?
right.
So, those responses that we have in our bodies that are part of being human work a lot of times against us, so even just recognizing that is huge. And I'll give you a random one and then we can break. But I had a couple years ago I was in the hair salon and it was a really tight, small hair salon. And so there was a chair next to me um, where this lady was getting her hair done with two people working on her hair. And so there was one lady that was working on her hair that was closer to me in my chair. And and my hair was processing. I was getting it colored. And so I looked in the mirror and I recognized that I was all the way over to the right So it was like moving away from her.
Mm.
People, that's called flight today.
Mm.
That's exactly what that is. She was too close to me in my space. So I was moving over, right? That is that kind of body human response of safety
Mm.
that our brain doesn't necessarily catch up to. But because I live in this world, I recognized, oh, that's interesting. I'm in flight mode right now.
Just
um,
sitting here in the
so
hairdresser's
just
chair.
sitting here in the chair, I'm totally fine. Um, so it's very small these days, but recognizing that it's a human construct of who we are and how we are as humans also helps sometimes. Of okay, yeah, I'm in freeze. Mine is freeze. I will freeze. I will not be able to get anything done. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I'm in freeze response right now. So what is one of those tiny check boxes I can do to kind of unfreeze and get myself unstuck a bit to move forward?
So
So
mine
all
is
of those
flight.
things.
What it
Oh,
yeah, oh, it's flight. It's so flight. I'm like, "Bye."
yeah.
Like, the you see the smoke behind me, I was like, "Oh,
Like, I'm
good."
leaving.
I live, like,
Yeah,
really close to Disney, so a lot of times I was like, "I'm going to Disney. I'll be back. I've gotta go do
perfect.
something happy,"
Love
and
it. Yep.
what
Oh,
do you
I
say to
love it.
someone who's theirs is flight? Just, again, go to that checkbox and be like, "Hey, you
Yeah,
don't have
go
to
to
be
the
scared. You don't
checkbox
have to run
first.
away."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you like, if that's a mobility thing for you of like, oh, I can't, I just can't right now. Then okay, go do what you need to do. But maybe don't go to Disney. Maybe go walk around the block.
Yeah,
Right?
get some fresh air real
Maybe
quick.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like, maybe make it smaller, right? What can
Yeah.
you do if you really gotta move, if you gotta move your situation? There was the other day where I was in my office and I was like, "I can't do this, it's driving me nuts." Like, every part of me is like, my skin's crawling,
Mm.
and so I just had to move my situation. I had to just go into a different room in the house and be like, "Okay, my setting's different now, and it's fine." We those are some of those things that we can do on a smaller scale. So, not necessarily like, "I'm just gonna power through." Recognize if you do need to have that break,
Mm.
maybe make it not the full day, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things that we're adjusting in real time because then you're still consistent, right? You're still consistent because you've done something to move it forward.
Yeah, and you'll
Yeah.
feel better at the end of the day. Like, I'll
Yeah.
feel better still having that one check, even if I run to go get a
Yes.
coffee and that helps get me out of my funk. Yeah, and then I come
Yeah.
back and I get the thing done. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Or it's a
Great.
reward. Or it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
reward because
treat.
I do that a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh,
Where
I
I'm like,
love the
oh,
treats.
yes. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Okay, if I get through this and have my checkbox, I'm going to get my Starbucks this afternoon, right?
Yes. Do
So
not
yeah,
withhold
totally.
treats from yourself. Have your treats there.
Do
Have a
not.
whole list. I have a note on my phone of all, like, the rewards I can give myself, whether it's,
Oh, I
you know
love that.
yeah, like, things that are really short. I have, like, really small ones and then, like, more
Yes.
medium. Like, I used to have a big one because I hated tax season, and so it was, like, a big reward when the taxes were done.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
love
"Okay,
that.
once this is done, I can do this." So that
Yes.
all of that is wonderful.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, last question then, because I feel like, like me, a lot of people have been listening to this thinking, Amy, you have a gold mine of information. Can't wait to read your book. Can't wait to be part of that course. I'm very intrigued about working with some of your coaches.
Mhm.
For people who want to follow along with you, learn more about you, reach out, how and where can they do that?
Two easiest places. So I'm on LinkedIn every single day. Easiest place to find me. Can just research my name or sales and presence. And then the website is salesandpresence.com. Can
Awesome.
definitely contact me through there as well.
Are you guys on Instagram or anything like
Yep.
that for the
Instagram and
young
Facebook. Mhm.
millennials and yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Instagram, because I do live on Instagram, that's one of my favorites, so but I will go, connect with you on LinkedIn. So and for everyone listening, of course, as always, I will be posting all that in the show notes too, so you will have those links there. But thank you so much, Amy. We will have to have a part 2, whenever you are free
Love
to
it.
do another one.
Yes.
Because this is the
Yes.
lifeblood of business, and I'm just so
Yeah.
grateful that you poured out this incredible wisdom for everybody. Thank you, and you just come by out of generosity of spirit, guys. Amy's here just because she loves to talk to people. She loves to share her advice, her wisdom. She loves sales, and she loves helping other people be better at it. So, Amy, thank you for dropping by, and I can't wait to chat with you again soon.
Soon. Cheers. Thank you.
Amy, thank you so much for joining us and sharing such practical and generous wisdom. From follow-up strategies to confidence cues to building a personal board, this was a masterclass for any entrepreneur who knows sales matters but still feels unsure where to start. For everyone listening, go connect with Amy on LinkedIn, visit salesandpresence.com and keep an eye out for her book, Connect to Close. If you found this conversation valuable, share it with another entrepreneur who could learn from Amy's wisdom. We'll see you in the next episode. Now go get 'em!